How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Alot, and welcome back to a brand new video, guys. So today we have some information I want to talk about because I did a video yesterday talking about like everything we know about Pokemon 2019 so far. It was an article which was sent to me by one of you guys to check out, and told me like, hey, check it out, tell me what you think about it. And I thought, go, okay, let's take a look at it, let's see what it's all about. And we read the article, we kind of summarized, what do we know about Pokemon 2019 so far, and I thought, okay, let's do a video talking about the other thing I mentioned in that video, which is that Ishihara, the man, Tsunekazu Ishihara, the man who runs the Pokemon company, the man at the top of the helm of the company, what he said about Pokemon 2019, and why he specifically said that it's going to be worth the wait, waiting for 2019 for the next Pokemon games being Generation 8. This gets me very excited. So, there are two articles here. First one here is on Forbes.com, written by Oli Bada, which covers, I guess, gaming news and that sort of stuff on Forbes. And the next one is going to be on Famitsu, which is where this information originally came from. But I want to read this one first, because they kind of like give it all in English and kind of a general idea of what's going on. And then we'll also read the Famitsu one, which is in Japanese, which will translate, but of course it's going to be a little bit iffy, but you get the point though, you get the general gist of it. Either way, let's get started with the actual article here. So, Tsunekazu Ishihara thinks that the new Pokemon game released next year will be worth the wait. Now, that is a good thing to say, you know what I mean? Because he seems more, this is why we gotta appreciate Ishihara, because however much, we may love Masuda, Masuda Matada, Masuda seems to want to go down this path of Pokemon Go being the future of Pokemon itself, right? Just taking all the aspects of Pokemon Go and connecting them with Pokemon and just kind of that being the future. That was the legacy with Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee that he left behind. He wants this to be the next, the future of Pokemon, where all the connectivity is going to be between, the Pokemon Go game on your phone and your mainline games. That's what he wants, and that's what Let's Go was in his eyes. Now, of course, the games have sold well. I'm not sure what the actual total sales are at right now, but if they surpass 15 million or 16 million, in Let's Go sales, then they have definitely defeated any expectations, far beyond the expectations that would have been set for them. So let's continue in here, shall we, which, this is where I get excited, because Ishihara, we gotta appreciate Ishihara, because he specifically seems to be on the side of, I want to make sure that the gamers still get the games that they want, which is, the mainline Pokemon games. Have we gotten a few duds in the past? Sure, Sun and Moon was a little bit iffy. Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, top notch. Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, great games, besides the fact that Masuda decided to not have the, Battle Frontier in there. X and Y, a little bit iffy. But then again, my point is, it's like Ishihara seems to want to still, make the company or Game Freak create Pokemon mainline games the way we're used to them, which is good, because then Let's Go can be a side thing as well, on the side, while we keep, Pokemon, the mainline, still going. So let's continue to what he said here. So, in a new interview after the big Pokemon event recently, this is a while back, by the way, it's an old post, Tsunekazu Ishihara of the Pokemon Company, let's just pause this, these ads on the side are so annoying. Either way, Tsunekazu Ishihara of the Pokemon Company thinks that the new Pokemon role-playing game released next year will be worth the wait. During an interview with Famitsu, Ishihara talks about the new major Pokemon game that is planned for release during the second half of 2019. And then here's the quote of what he said. The new title coming out in the second half of 2019 will be a completely different game from Pokemon Let's Go. Yes, I forgot that he mentioned this. So, this is the best news we could get, guys. Let's Go, I already said this, like, a lot of people say this as well. Let's Go is just a bite-sized thing, right? It's just something to, like a little, like a little bread before you eat the main dish, right? Like a little cookie right before you eat the main dish. The main dish is the 2019 game. That's what I see from this. He says it's a different game. He must establish that, guys. If you think Let's Go isn't for you, don't worry. If you enjoyed Let's Go, but you want something a bit more substantial, don't worry, 2019 is for you, my boys and girls. It's for you. Either way, let's continue here. So, it's not an entry game, but a game that we want longtime fans of the Pokemon series to look forward to. Yes, dude. I remember reading this a really long time ago, man. Back like when all this information originally came out. And of course, this information, kind of like it's like I've gone through a million different sorts of info coming into my brain and out, so I've kind of forgotten about a lot of these things. But this makes me very excited. So let's continue here. So, it's a Pokemon series for the Pokemon series to look forward to, which makes me happy, dude. The game will give a good understanding of what an evolved Pokemon game looks like after it has continued to succeed the traditions of the Game Freak. Cool. We want to make Pokemon fans say, "This is what I've been waiting for," by delivering a brand new product packed with gameplay elements and plenty of new Pokemon to encounter. Now, there is the proof, which is, by the way, in the article I read yesterday, the guy said, like, oh, we don't know if it's going to be a new generation. Well, there's your proof. This is why I mentioned Ishihara's interview yesterday, because he specifically said there's going to be new Pokemon to encounter, aka brand new Pokemon. New Pokemon. Because when he says new Pokemon, he's not talking about, oh, you're going to see a Pidgey, right? We already know Pidgey exists. New Pokemon, aka brand new ones. So that's already there, confirmed. We're getting Gen 8 next year. No remakes, none of that. It's a proper new game, new generation, new Pokemon, new everything, which makes me super excited because I don't know where they're going to take this. And I have a video coming out probably tomorrow. I'm not going to make it today because, honestly, I just don't have the time today. I've got to go take care of my siblings. But I'm going to have a video coming out tomorrow your way, guys, which is going to cover kind of what the graphics should look like for Generation 8. Kind of the style of the graphics I think would be good for Generation 8, which I'm going to do tomorrow. If you guys want to see that video, do hashtag Gen 8 in the comment section down below, or hashtag Gen 8 graphics if you want to see that video tomorrow. Just make me sure you let me know, guys. Either way, let's continue here. So, I'm speaking really fast because I want to go through this without delaying for too long. So, because we have another article to go through. To be fair, at the event I attended, it was made very clear that a full-blown mainline role-playing game installment was planned for after Let's Go. Yes. So this is in line with that. From a development perspective, it would also make sense, as Pokemon Let's Go only started development once the Switch was launched. A new core Pokemon game would likely need longer to make, so this planned release for the middle of next year makes a lot of sense. Now, there has been changes here. It turns out that the game was actually developed before the Switch came out, because they had alpha prototype, versions of the Switch to work on. So Game Freak, as a one of the closest companies to work with Nintendo, literally on the same level as Nintendo, of course they would. And also, Nintendo's like probably biggest property that they have investment in, right? Of course they would have access to the Switch early on, dude. Way before the Switch was actually, announced, or revealed, rather, or, sold. So definitely, they've had their hands on it. We got to kind of know that a little bit earlier on. So by the time the game comes out in 2019, late 2019, by the way, now, they changed it from second half to late 2019. By the time it comes out, it's going to have been at least, like, 3 to 4 years, give or take, since the game started development. So it's going to be a long time of development for the games. Either way, it's going to be so, a new core Pokemon game would likely need longer to make. So this planned release for the middle of next year makes a lot of sense. Considering how much Pokemon Let's Go is trying to leverage the Pokemon Go fan base, it's clear the Pokemon Company and Game Freak want to keep the mainline games alive. Follow me, and he just kind of, does a little bit of self-promotion there. But yeah, if you want to follow this guy, there you go. It's going to all be linked down below. Forbes article will be linked as per usual. But yeah, I've already read this. Like I said, I've already, read through this article, before this video, and I kind of already knew what, was going to establish here, but I want to make sure that you guys understand. Ishihara is on our side and understands that there are still people, that don't want to just sit and play, through remakes every single time, or don't want that whole go gameplay, right? Now, am I saying that this makes Let's Go a bad game? No. Far from it, no. Let's Go is a fun game, but it's a very, very shallow game. There's nothing to do once you're really done. Yeah, sure. I've seen people, trying to, oh, you can go and take on, these Master Trainers, or you can take on red and green or whatever. Sure, but these are really insignificant things that aren't as fun as having a Delta episode or Rainbow Rocket episode, right? From Sun and Moon and Oras and stuff, or having the Battle Frontier from the older generation of games. You know what I mean? This doesn't have a lot of post game stuff. Also, the lack of Pokemon being just the 151 Pokemon on including Meltan and Melmetal. Really not just sometimes a little bit iffy. Also, another thing, the throwing mechanic when you're throwing in docked mode, really iffy. I really would prefer if I just played a Pokemon game with my Pro Controller and I didn't have to actually do any motions at all, and I could just play normally. I hate motion controls. I've never liked motion controls. That's why I hated playing on the Wii. The only thing I liked in the Wii was Wii bowling or whatever, or the Wii Sports thing, where you bowled. That's the only one I liked. I didn't like any of the other ones. So I don't know. To me, I'm just not a big fan of motion controls. I like sitting back and just relaxing and playing, not having to do a million motions, because I want to relax when I play games, not sit and be freaked out. But of course, the game works way better when you're playing in handheld. But again, as a streamer and somebody who does content, I can't do that because the only way to record your Switch gameplay is while it's docked. So that's the only way I can play. So I can't play in handheld, which is a bit of an issue. But we've gone through that. Let me just put my phone a little bit over there so it doesn't disturb. Let's go over to the actual Famitsu article, which I think I read to you guys a long time ago, but of course, we've already, it's been a while now since I read this, since I talked about this a while back, and we probably have a bunch of new viewers here who don't even know about this. So let's talk about what is being said here. I think it's about the same thing here that you'll read from the I guess, the Forbes article. But either way, let's continue. Pokemon Representative Director and President Tsuyoshi Ishihara interview. So, at this timing, Pokemon's new work can be launched since we started development, since the Switch was launched. So we have a spirit that a game will lead the platform. Pokemon Let's Go has a big change in the process and tempo to be caught just throwing a Monster Ball and throwing Monster Ball, Pokeballs, when playing with one hand is a thing with a different operating feeling. In the two-player player mode, another player can come in to help catch Pokemon. I thought that the new Pokemon should go out. I think that Pokemon Pikachu is a remake, and I will add new elements such as Pokemon that I see for the first time, as well as playstyle and expression. So, this is, I mean, of course, this is a little bit iffy. It's iffy translation, so keep in mind. Now, what they officially said was that they were inspired by Pokemon Yellow, but it's still kind of a remake. I mean, it essentially is, right? There isn't many changes, with just kind of like functional changes. And what I mean by that is like the functional changes is that you don't battle Pokemon in the wild to catch them. You just throw Pokeballs. I'm gonna be honest, that gets boring. So I want to go back, like I've said, I think a lot of people want that, wild battles. I think most people want wild battles, and maybe a mixture, right? But maybe they can try that in Let's Go Johto, right? And not in the mainline games. Maybe the mainline games should just stay mainline games the way they are, while the Let's Go games should try out new things within them. Like, I feel like the Let's Go games should be kind of where you do your trial and error, right? This is like, those should be the games where you're like, okay, well, we've tried the Pokemon Go mechanics. What if we tried wild battles plus Pokemon Go mechanics? You know what I mean? Like, that should be the way you try out those things. Don't do it in the mainline. Let the mainline stay the way it's always been, because that's what makes it so fun, is because you get the same experience every time, and it's fun and it's enjoyable with a few extra knickknacks here and there, just make it a little bit more interesting. That's what makes it fun. So, just my opinion. Again, I could be wrong here, but let's continue, shall we? So, 2019 launch in the second half. The new work is a different axis from Let's Go, the Let's Go titles that I would like to expect greatly from the fans who played plenty of Pokemon series, rather than the introductory position. This is the same thing that we read right here, which is this point right there. Hard as a Switch is becoming consciously made. It also polishes image quality. There we go. Here it is. So it is becoming consciously made. It also polishes image quality. So this is it was just better translated in another article where specifically they said like the graphics in this are the best graphics we will get, the most improved graphics we've ever made for a Pokemon game. It's an easy to understand work that Game Freak has evolved the tradition of Pokemon that follow the tradition in such a game. Waiting for this to Pokemon fans, I would like to provide a so-called complete new work that makes it possible to encounter a lot of new Pokemon with firmly putting elements of play that I could say. Will completely graphics become graphics over Pochi? If you're having trouble with batteries so that you can play for a long time in mobile mode, Nokia Nintendo may be preparing some measures for Pokemon. So, what I talk about here is this right here. This is something that people don't talk about this, dude. Why am I the only one who mentions this? I mentioned this in my last video as well, dude. So, we already know that, like, Nintendo is planning to have a new Switch model. There's been rumors about it, like a brand new Switch model coming out. But this was the first time that it was actually talked about. This was way before the rumors that ended up, happening in the second half of the year. This was back in, like, June, July or something, dude. Yeah, June. Literally June 6th. I remember covering this, and I said, they're probably going to make a new kind of Switch, or a Switch where you just need this, the actual Switch itself, and, maybe they're going to have some kind of ornament to it, or a brand new version of the Switch with a larger battery capacity. Why? For Pokemon 2019, because they're making the next game to be specifically made for handheld gameplay. You know what I mean? They're making the next game specifically made for the handheld audience from like the 3DS era, and the DS and the Game Boy. Like, basically the people who've been playing, all of us who've been playing Pokemon before it went to the Switch now with Let's Go. For us guys. You know what I mean? And with the audience in Japan for mobile gaming, aka when I say mobile gaming, I'm not talking about phones. I'm talking about literal, like, holding a device and having mobility while you're playing on it. Moving around and stuff. There's a huge audience for that in Japan. It's gigantic. There's a huge market for it. So honestly, them doing it makes total sense in my eyes. But yeah, guys, that's gonna be just about it. Though I think we've covered most of all the stuff that was in here. I don't think I've missed anything else. But yeah, guys, let's go. I think that's about it. Guys. I think we've gone through most of the information, which I think should be fine. So that, guys, there you go. If anybody didn't know about this, now you know. If you want to tell somebody about this, now you know, and all that, guys. Either way, if you want to see another video covering what the graphics in Gen 8 could look like, in my opinion, or what they should look like, in my opinion, I have some stuff I want to show you. If you want to see that, do hashtag Gen 8 or hashtag Gen 8 graphics in the comment section down below, and I will do a video on that, guys. Either way, thanks so much for watching. My name has been Wolf. Have a great day, and I will see you the next time. Bye-bye, ladies and gentlemen.